family-centered, Christian-based, grown in the heart of the Midwest. Talking to people from all walks of life.
The world needs more encouraging stuff, honest conversation. I always put my biblical spin on everything because that's my foundation. My name's Bubba. What is up?
You missed the lift. Got to make up. You work out at the high school?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yep. Yeah, me and a buddy were actually doing 75 hard. We're doing that challenge.
What's that?
So you go 75 days, and it's supposed to be like 2 workouts a day. It's supposed to be workout inside, workout outside.
Okay.
But we just did like 2 workouts a day, 'cause obviously in the winter, but 2 workouts over 30 minutes, and then they have to be 3 hours apart. And then we're sticking to meal prep. So trying to hit like, I think mine was 200 grams of protein a day. And then read 20 minutes or 2 chapters or something every day. And then, like, progress pictures, I think, was the other thing.
Okay.
And then fast once a week. So we were doing that, but I failed yesterday, obviously, because not getting to anything. But
Yeah.
I think I was at 40 days.
Wow.
Yeah, 40 days. So
Yeah, that's good.
it was good to, like, learn that discipline back
Sure.
again.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I like it.
yeah.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back for part 2 with Braden Knight. In case you missed part 1, you got to go back and listen to it, man. Braden shared his story, what it was like for a 21-year-old kid to have God come knocking on the door and to actually open the door. It's not the easiest thing to do, but and he talked about relationship issues and just struggling with faith and all that good stuff. So definitely worth your listen. But this week, we're going to get into his segments. You know, this is part 2. We lighten it up a little bit. We have some fun. We have some laughs. We may also get a little serious at the end when we start talking about AI and the dangers of it, or maybe the benefits of it, and start talking about the man, Charlie Kirk. You know, I like to say, I don't brag, but the Charlie Kirk assassination hit me hard because I thought we do almost the same thing. Charlie is 10 times smarter than me, and he's forgotten more than I'll ever know. But it's basically the same thing. We want people, whether they agree or disagree, to share their opinions. Mm-hmm. And I just want to put the Christian worldview alongside of it and say, do with it as you wish.
Yep.
That's it. And he was killed for that. And that shook me up quite a bit. So we may get into that at the end. Hopefully, though, we'll encourage you with this episode. That's our goal always. Speaking of encouragement, you guys know me. I like to start these part 2s out with a couple shout outs. So got to give a shout out to my buddy, Jim Gillespie. Just had breakfast with him this morning. If you're passionate about art in the Northeast Iowa area, check out the Steve Brown Art Center. Jim is trying to do something special with that. I'm not an art guy, but I've bought some of the art that the Steve Brown Art Center sells just to support Jim. He's trying to build a house where artists can come, work on their craft, live there rent-free as long as they take care of the house and the grounds. So if you want to be a part of that good cause, check it out on Facebook, Steve Brown Art Center. If you're interested in purchasing some amazing art for that home, office, or cabin of yours, like that wood duck I got right there, that is TonyThomasArt.com. That would be the son-in-law of legendary Phil Robertson, husband of Phyllis Robertson. This guy does everything: nature scenes, biblical portraits, southern staples. He'll do custom work that you work with him and commission him to do. He'll paint anything. I love his stuff. Support him if you're in that market for some of that art. TonyThomasArt.com. And the last shout out is Pastor Corey Brooks of New Beginnings Church in Chicago. You guys know that's my boy. He is doing something special right now, probably the biggest, most positive thing in the entire country. He's walking across America to finish fundraising for his Leadership and Economic Opportunity Center going up in O Block on the south side of Chicago, trying to lift people up out of poverty, not asking the government for help because the people of Chicago know the government isn't helping. And he's trying to say, let's get you in, get you life skills, give you a sense of pride in your community and teach you how to be a part and contribute to society instead of getting into gangs and drugs and violence and all that. So follow Corey Brooks on social media, Project Hood. Go to projecthood.org if you want to help donate, if you want to walk with him. He's doing more than just about anybody I can think of right now. So give Pastor Brooks some support. It's something special. So yeah, be sure to follow him on social media as he documents the journey all along the way. Started in New York City. This fall, he'll end up in LA, and he's meeting people and encouraging people all along the way. So it's definitely something good. Let's get to part 2 of this episode, shall we? You ready to get into these segments, Braden?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You remember what you picked, or is this all going to be kind of fresh again?
It's going to be fresh.
Okay. All right, here we go. You picked shout-outs. So right off the bat, you wanted to give some shout-outs.
Preston, my man. I know we talked about part 1. Talked about bringing him to church, meeting at the game, bringing him to church, him actually baptizing me. I mean, that was a big moment for me. But yeah. I mean, he's been, even though I've known him for 3, maybe 4 years now. Mm-hmm. He's been a huge part of my life. If that's, my walk with God, if that is relationship advice, just life advice, he's always been there for me. He's a good man. But shout out.
Gotta have those brothers in Christ, man. What's the Bible say? Iron sharpens iron. Who did I have sitting there recently? And they said something about, well, it's Paul. Paul's a young Christian. He's walking, he's learning, and I love talking with Paul. But sometimes he would say things and I can understand, like, hey, let me go a little bit deeper on there. And he was talking about judging. And I had to tell him, like, yeah, judging the outside world is not what we're called to do, because they're not followers of Christ. Why would we try and hold them to that standard? Yep. But when you're in Christ, guess what? You are supposed to hold each other accountable. If you see a brother doing something that is sinful, that's bad for them, the Bible says you are to go to them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If we just turned a blind eye to it, is that love? That's not love, man. So yeah, being a brother in Christ, that's a serious bond, serious commitment. Yep. Shout out Preston. Good job. All right, next segment, do-over. This is where the guest can choose any moment in their life or any time in their life. If they could go back and do it all over again, would they do it differently? Would they do it the same? I don't know, but you get to do it over. Yep. What would that moment in your life be?
Mine would be my walk with Christ. I mean, I wish I would have started a little sooner than I did. I mean, it's hard because it's hard to talk about that, to think about that, because God does call us. He calls us when it is that time when we are supposed to obviously run to Him. But I don't know, man. I feel like if I would have started sooner, or when I first got into that college ministry, started going to that, if I would have went all in. Just to think about where I could be with that.
Sure.
How much wisdom I would have gained from God, from obviously reading His Word and praying, whatever it is, life situations. Like, I just kind of wish it was. I don't, but I do. It's a little. It's a 50-50. Like, obviously this is what God has called me to do. This is where I'm supposed to be at. I just feel like if I would have started sooner, a lot of I've talked about kind of not wasting, but there is a kind of a chance that I've talked about like wasting what God has for you.
Yeah. Missing opportunities.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. I just listened to something the other day. It was talking about, God has this purpose for you, but if you're going to be lazy, God doesn't call us to be lazy. It doesn't call us sit and doom scroll all day.
Nope.
That is 100%. I mean, that is 100% wasting your purpose when God has something greater for you, has a greater calling for you. So I guess that would be my do-over.
I like it. You're saying, I like where God has led me, but if I could change, I'd rather I got started earlier.
Yep.
Take advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think of our, Wapsie and Dunkerton both started Fellowship of Christian Athletes this year. And, man, I just think of that. Like that's my big do-over. If I could go me and my wife actually just said that last night. What if we could go back and do high school all over again?
Yeah.
And I said, I wouldn't want to do any of it all. I'd love to do football again, because we were watching a football show. I was like, I'd love to have 4 more years of football,
100%.
but I don't want to do any of the rest of it. I don't want to do the schoolwork. I don't want the drama. I don't want our terrible relationship. None of that. But I think about these young people, and I'm just like, man, if they can really grasp it, that it's about a relationship with Jesus, not just going to church with mom and dad on the weekend. Yep. How big of an impact could we have in the high school? You know what I mean? And really, because it's happening on college campuses, man.
Yep.
The Ohio State football team, they were flat out wearing Jesus Won T-shirts to camp, and you can tell revival is breaking out. But
Yes.
getting started earlier, yeah, I think that's always going to be a regret or a
so.
desire we wish we could have just done more, but we weren't there yet, so
Yep.
can't control that. All right, let's get into the getting to know you segment. These are kind of specific questions to let people really get in on who you are, what your personality's like, kind of the ins and outs of the mysterious Braden Knight. Try and dramatize it a little bit.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Hype it up. Okay, let's go pet peeves.
Yeah, pet peeves. I will say one of them is people complaining and not doing anything about it. I obviously am I have done that before for sure. I mean, there's been plenty of times where I will complain about something and just not, I can do something about it, but I just think like now that, it's a little different now with my walk with like, I'm not trying to, he does tell us not to complain. That's been one of my biggest things that I've been trying hard to, really do is like, I'm so blessed to be here.
Sure.
Sure. Like he's giving me a chance every time I wake up. So why would I complain about that? Why would I, stuff happens. There's the world that, stuff does suck, but it's like at the end of the day, like I try to remember at the end of the day, I'm still going home. I still get to go see my family. I still get to eat all the stuff, it's like I'm so blessed to have it all. And,
Sure.
But yeah, a big thing is definitely complaining and not doing anything about it. Like, especially when it comes to complaining and like maybe not being as healthy. Ever since I started lifting, exercising, I've been like a big phobic of a lot of stuff. Like, so like when people complain that they're that they weigh too much, or that they have health problems because of their weight. It's like, but you can do something about it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's
sir.
like, and God doesn't tell us to be lazy. I mean, He wants us to build our temple. And that's usually what I try every time before I work out is pray that I am building my temple up for Him.
Sure.
Because our bodies are obviously, it's not our own. It's His temple. It's His holy temple. And we need to make sure, that is as healthy and as good as it can be. So that's usually one of my prayers before I work out. But yeah, that's just a big thing. It's like whenever it comes to, I mean, now I just don't really like complaining as it is. But when you can do something and you don't, really gets on my nerves.
You got no sympathy for that. That's a pet peeve. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Another one, is being lazy. Again, I've done that quite a bit too. I'm not like I said, I'm not perfect. Nobody is, and that's the good thing about it. It's just, we know.
Yeah.
It's like, especially, there's been plenty of times where I'm just sitting on the couch and I could be doing anything else. I'm just doom scrolling because I think I need rest or something. I get really convicted about it. I'm like, dude, what's going on?
Get up.
Get something done. Like, I could be doing anything else. And the thing is, especially with doom scrolling, is like, you don't even remember what you just watched two swipes ago.
And it's so bad for us. It's so bad for everything. Those quick dopamine hits and then moving on to something else. It's desensitizing us. Yep. It's bad for the chemical makeup inside of our system.
Yep.
Yeah, it just makes almost everything meaningless.
Exactly.
For a quick entertainment hit. Like, come on, man.
It's to really just shut our minds off and just kind of, I mean, the attention span of it too is like, I've noticed like it's shortened my attention span. And my brother CJ actually, he does some doom scrolling sometimes, so I had to put a limit on his phone because I was like, dude, like, I've told my parents about it too, but I was like, this stuff isn't, that's when I started really getting into it. I was like, I do it, but like, this stuff is not good. I've been really trying to, like, recently, like, since my walk, like, I've been really trying to back down on that, especially with CJ too, since he's so young. He's 11 years old, or 10 years old, sorry. And 10 years old, and he's doom scrolling. And I'm like, dude, that's the last thing you need to be doing. I mean, I get it's different now, But again, that goes back to with like how the world is. That's how our culture is like that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
And it's like it really upsets me. Like I still do it sometimes, but it's like you can't even have a conversation with someone without scrolling on your phone, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's just what this world has really come to. I mean,
Yeah. We can do better, guys, can't we? We can do better. Let's do it. When you go out to eat, put the phone away. I like the idea of the limit. I really do.
Mhm.
Man, it's like 1 hour throughout the entire day. Once that hour's up,
yep,
that's it. I guess you're opening a book or you're doing something else.
Doing something.
Don't be go grabbing the wife or the girlfriend's phone or the boyfriend's phone.
Exactly.
No. I
Yeah.
like it. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, last meal. This is like if you're on death row, you know how everyone gets a last meal. There's one thing in the world, or you put a couple things, but
I like to eat.
if you're getting executed tomorrow, what are you ordering for food tonight?
I said I would say probably a crab boil for sure. I mean that I just had one not that long ago, seafood boil.
Yes.
Amazing.
That's
I
my
mean,
world, man.
It's
That's
amazing.
my world.
I don't know how I got introduced to it, but that is one of the things I really look forward to.
Where was it at?
Actually at Weed on Fire.
Okay.
It was a few weeks ago. Yeah, he was having one, and I was like, I will definitely be going to that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was amazing. It was very good. Sushi, for sure. I mean,
Sushi, huh?
my mom is a big fan of sushi, and I just really got into that, and yeah, I love it. I mean, I will eat sushi because they opened up that Azumi in Waterloo. What was that crab place in Waterloo? Right on San Martin.
Red Lobster.
Red Lobster. Yeah. Yeah, they opened up Red Lobster, or where Red Lobster was at, and I've gone there probably 3 times. And the first time we went, it was between 4 to 6 of us, but we got I think it was 140 rolls of sushi.
Wow.
This is all you can eat. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
It was good. Yeah, I would say, and then probably steak too.
There we go. Here comes the Midwest pride is coming back.
It's got. I mean, steak is just. You can put that with pretty much anything, and you just cook it. I mean, you cook it perfect. Let me ask, how do you cook your steak?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yep. I gotta ask.
I go medium well.
Wow.
I know. What are you going? Rare or medium rare?
Rare to medium rare.
Do you?
Yep.
See, you grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
I didn't.
That's fair.
I watched my parents get medium rare steaks, where they just knock the horns off and bring it out to them. I'm scarred from seeing that.
I like when it moves, man. I'd eat it then. It's good. It's good.
Farm kid, I can't do it. I tried to. We tried prime rib years ago. I want to say I was a senior in high school. Maybe I had just graduated, and my parents took us up to Red Fox Inn in Waverly.
Yep.
And they had prime rib, and me and my girlfriend were driving home, and I threw up. Threw it all up, whatever it probably was, $50 a plate or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Threw it up. I was like, that's why I can't have the rare meat, bro.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, crab boil though, that's my world, dude. I used to do one every summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my homeland, Louisiana. That's my home state, and there's rumors that this year's podcast open house possibly might be a crawfish boil. So
really,
and everybody
awesome.
knows
Yep.
that the podcast open house is open for former guests like Braden, but also just fans, supporters, whatever. So our second annual open house might be a crawfish bowl. I can't promise it yet, but yeah, I got all the equipment out in the garage. I got the big boiler and everything. I've messed up 2 of them to get to the point where I can do them well.
You know how to do it
well
now.
Yeah. Those first 2, I had to apologize to everybody. I was like, it's not supposed to taste like this. It did not taste like this growing up, but now I got it dialed in. So,
Good deal.
okay, let's keep going. This is your episode, not mine. One thing you did this past year.
Yeah, one thing I did this past year was turning to God. I mean, that was one of the single biggest decision that I've ever made.
Oh, absolutely.
That was obviously looking back on it now and see where I am now with it too. I mean, best thing I've ever done. I mean, you can't make that up.
Nope.
You really cannot. Yeah, it's just been such a blessing to have done that, and you know, like I said, like I wish I would have done it a little sooner, but I do like where I'm at now. I do like the wisdom that I've gained from him, and what I've been learning for sure.
No one ever regrets it. That's for sure.
Exactly.
No one ever,
Exactly.
Oh man, I wish. What's the post I saw this morning? It said something like, "Most people want to spend an eternity with God, but they don't want to make time for Him now," or something along those lines. And it's like those two views are incompatible. If you want to spend eternity with Him, you should want to seek Him right now, every day. That's good. Yeah, I love it. Okay, this one is a good one. I love this one because it really lets me know where people are at today, and it's a tough one. Number one problem we face today, you said generation of we can do anything. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so I think it's more of we are kind of idolizing ourselves almost.
Ooh, good.
We think that, you know, obviously culture now is we're all about ourselves. You know, what we want, what we think is right, what we don't think is right, what other people should be doing or shouldn't be doing. Honestly, it's just how we all are now that, you know, is not right. It's what this culture has come to, is what our generation has come to, is we think we can do whatever we want. We think we can be, you know, ultimately our own gods. We can decide what we want, and that's the biggest thing. Is like, you know, that's not the case. You know, that really
you can.
Well,
you
can.
There's going to be consequences,
exactly,
bro.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of making idols of ourselves, wanting to be our own gods.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a dangerous world to live in, man. And that's why I kind of that's my core opposition against progressivism. Okay, you can say, I'm not saying Democrats, I'm not just saying the left, I'm saying progressivism.
Yep.
What are you progressing to? You're basically saying, man, we can do better on our own. We don't need a God.
Exactly.
We are in charge. I'm telling you, that ain't going to work out. That ain't going to work out, man.
Yep.
We got to have an all-knowing, all-loving, omnipresent creator, designer behind it all, and that's the one we should be following. Exactly. In my opinion, that's what is up.
Mine too.
There we go. All right, next one. We got best memory from church or about God, anything like that. Not everyone gets to pick this. You get to pick it, so you did.
I will say it was fall retreat was the biggest and the best memory. I mean, that is when I got baptized. I mean, we talked about it. Part 1, that was, you know,
go back and watch part 1.
Of course, yep. That was the whole shebang there. That is when my walk with God started. You know, that is when my life changed for the better. You know, it was such a good and real time. You know, it really opened my eyes. It was I like to use an awakening. You know,
absolutely.
So yeah, definitely fall retreat.
Yeah, where was that at?
That was where was that? That was about, I can't remember the name.
Like
of the
Wisconsin
town.
somewhere?
No, it was in Iowa. It was just
it?
down. It was southwest, probably 2-3 hours.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the name. It's something.
I know there's like a YMCA camp down in Boone. We did a couple men's retreats down there.
It was a little past Boone, I think.
Really?
I think so.
Okay.
I can't remember the name. But
okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Next one. Ever had a moment where you knew for sure that God was speaking to you? Maybe not like audible, like, Braden, you must do this. No, but like you knew He was putting it on your heart. He was moving you, and this is clearly something from God.
Definitely fall retreat again. When I got baptized, I mean, we talked about it, how, you know, it was when I got into service, you know, I was starting to get really emotional. And then after, He kind of just told me, like, I think during that, and then when that one guy prayed over me, for sure, I think that was part of it too, is like, I know what you're going through, you know. I know what you're going through. I'm sending this person that has no clue what you're going through to talk to you about it, to pray over you about it. And I think that was probably the biggest moment for me was that. And then definitely when I was no hesitation to get baptized either, you know. It was definitely that. So
I like it. I like it. Sometimes it's right there in front of your face, and you know it. You know God's pushing you to this, or He's speaking truth into you, or I mean, other times, I mean, if it's sometimes I'd like to tell people, I was like, if it's something not as big as that, but it keeps coming up, you keep coming back to this.
Yep.
Well, that's probably God putting it. We say on our mind, but maybe He's just putting it on your heart. Whether it's you need to reach out to this person, or you need to go visit this, or you should do this, or whatever, and you wrestle with it a little bit, but it keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason it's probably keeps coming back. It's something God wants you to do.
Exactly.
But sometimes it's much bigger and emotional, and exactly what you experienced as well. So,
Yep.
all right, let's move to the. I make fun of the Michael Scott from The Office. He said how the turntables. He mixes up the saying or whatever.
Yep.
But this gives you a chance to turn the tables on me, and you chose a few. This is where you can ask me any of your segments or questions that you chose, or any of the others from the list of choices that you had. And you picked a few. You said you wanted to know something most people don't know about me.
Yep.
And my answer for that is I have a super loud, like, elbow fart that I can do. And I've always wanted to, like, get a hold of Guinness and have them put a decibel meter to it and see if I can't do it. But I suppose I'm going to have to do it right here on the podcast. That is wild. So, my gosh.
Let's hear it.
I have to get my elbow out of my hooded shirt here. This is embarrassing. What other podcast is going to do this?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody's doing this. Okay, here we go. Okay.
All right.
I don't know what it's going to do for sound, but been able to do this since I was a kid. Now I got to take a deep breath. I'm not as in shape as I used to be. That wasn't good. That was a warm-up. Hang on.
Warm up.
Was it super loud in your headphones?
It was pretty loud, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I used to be able to do it louder, I guess, but
That was pretty good.
yeah, everybody's got talents, I guess. That's
Yeah.
what the good Lord equipped me with.
Yep.
Equipped me.
Equipped you
All
with
right.
an elbow fart.
What else did we have in here? We had past injuries and surgeries. So I think on the episode, a couple episodes before this, I think an episode that's out right now. Yeah, Casey Gardner, I talked about my neck surgery. First injury was AC joint in high school. We were playing East Buchanan, Robert Gallery's team, and I wasn't going against Robert Gallery. They had a stud running back at the time, and he ran a toss left or whatever, and I come off at defensive line or defensive end, and I just reached out and grabbed a hold of his shoulder pads, and when he turned upfield, I couldn't hang on, and when I hit the ground, it was just dug right into my shoulder, and you just sprain that joint, and it's messed up to this day. It's not dislocated. I can do everything, but it pops, and there's scar tissue in there. So that was a big one. Cost me a few games. And then, neck surgery. What was that? 2017. Man, I was just having that nerve pain and numbness going down my arm. And I could deal with the numbness in your fingers and your arm, but when that nerve pain starts hitting, there's no medicine for that. There's nothing they can do for that. Next thing you know, I'm sleeping sitting up. That's the only way I can sleep. And I mean, it went downhill bad. So they found out it was 2 discs in my neck were not just bulging, but were like herniated, like they had popped. And so they go in and they go through the front of your neck, of your throat, and they just push everything over, and they cut out the discs. They put new discs in, that little Lego type discs, so you actually gain a little bit of height. And then they put a titanium bracket on 3 vertebrae, one big bracket, and then they put 6 screws in it, and it just kind of holds everything in place. So that's the neck surgery. And my wife gives me a hard time because we get to the doctor or whatever, and he says, car accident recently, or any jarring, like anything like that, maybe high school football. And as soon as he said that, like high school football injury, my wife's like, oh my gosh, here we go. Yeah, he's going to tell you all about it. And it's like, okay, because the stories get bigger. The older you get, when you're 45, I mean, you're basically going to be telling people you won the Heisman at Wapsie Valley. So enjoy it. That's fun. Okay, what else do we got? Most embarrassing or dumbest thing you have ever done? And to the audience, the reason the guests pick this sometimes is because they get to see my answers beforehand. When I send them an email of the segment choices, they get to see some of my responses, so they're written down, so I never have to think of them. And you chose that one because you saw that I burned the woods down at some point in my childhood.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
I'm blaming the Wizard of Oz. I mean, it was before I moved to Iowa, so I had to have been, I was probably around 11 or 12. And I had watched The Wizard of Oz, which scarred me as a kid. The Wicked Witch of the East and the Flying Monkeys, like, scarred me. Mm-hmm. But there was a scene where she's like, the witch is throwing, like, fireballs at Dorothy or something. And the Tin Man, just like, no problem whatsoever, just like lays and rolls on it and puts it out.
Yeah.
So we're out in the woods, you know, doing stupid stuff, smoking cigarettes. And we had a little tree fort or whatever. And, of course, kids play with fire.
Yeah.
And we start lighting stuff on fire. Well, I start really lighting stuff on fire and like letting it go. Usually we put it out right away. I put some leaves on fire and then that spread because I knew there was a big sheet of like, what do we call it? Like corrugated aluminum siding or whatever you call it. I don't know, paneling.
Yeah.
So there's some of that aluminum paneling there, but you know, corrugated means, you know, it's not flat.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm just going to throw this on these leaves and kind of step on it and it's going to put it out. Well, it's corrugated, so it ain't flat. And as soon as you throw something that big, like on leaves that are on fire, well, they...
Yeah, yeah.
And it got away from me. I ran back to our trailer because, of course, I grew up, trailer park kid, you know, you can call it trailer trash. You won't offend me. Grew up in a couple different mobile homes. And I got my older cousin. He was there. Mom was at work. No supervision. Sorry, Mom. And he was like in his 20s or whatever. He filled up like an actual cooler with water. And I remember it was like one of the most impressive things I've seen. He filled it up with water and he ran from the trailer to the woods and put it out.
Really?
And I don't know when I realized that was impressive because if you fill up a cooler of water and you pick that up, bro, that's got to be every bit of like 135. That's got to be like picking up a bar with the plates on it, right?
Yeah.
It was, and he ran with that sucker. So cousin Renee, I haven't forgot that he was like my hero that day. And then, okay, the other thing you said you wanted to know about me was your walk with God, my walk with God. Well, that's a long story. And we actually, let me think about this. Yeah, by the time this episode releases, I have a special episode coming out before this where we had a guest host and he interviewed me and I gave my whole story and everything. So I would encourage everyone to go back and listen to, it's probably going to be episode 72 because I'm guessing this is going to be episode 74. So go back and listen to episode 72. I lay it all out there, but basically short answer, because we do have a little bit of time, is, you know, I grew up non-church home, but I wasn't an atheist. We knew there was a God. I couldn't look outside and not reckon that, you know, there's not a designer, a creator behind everything. But I just had this thought that God was so loving that as long as you don't kill somebody, as long as you don't take another life, you're going to heaven. Everybody's going.
Yep.
And I get to Iowa and I, like 7th grade, whatever it was, and I met this girl that summer and ended up being my girlfriend later on. And she told me, she goes, no, your views are a little messed. She was no saint herself. She'll admit that. But she had spent enough time in the church that she knew that, like, what the Bible teaches is actually that everybody's sinful and Jesus is the only one who can forgive your sin because of what he did on the cross. So I prayed a prayer like when I was 15 because I was scared of going to hell, but no life change whatsoever. And then at about 20, I was 20. My girlfriend was 19. We were living together, and we had everything high school had to offer. We had everything that the party scene had to offer, and we looked at her grandparents, and we were like, they were church-going people at First Baptist Church in Dunkerton, and was like, we want what they got, because our relationship wasn't going to make it. It was the worst relationship ever, and but the moment we did that, like, things really changed, and you know, everything good I have today is because of that decision, and because me and her are together. So but if you want all the details, definitely go back and listen to my testimony on hopefully episode 72. So okay, we made it. I wanted to leave enough time here. We're at like 38 minutes, so we got some good discussion time here. And you picked what is up with, let's start with AI in general. What is up with that in your opinion? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it both? What do you think's coming down the road?
I think it can be good, but I think it's going towards towards bad, you know.
Yeah.
Like I think with how our world has been, I think it'll just be really, I think it'll get really corrupted to the point where we can, you know, everybody talks about it, how it gets to robots and it's doing our jobs and all that, and I think it will get to a point to where you know, it's gonna be that corrupted, just like everything else has, you know, just like how phones have been, just, you know, it's like, I think it's gonna get to that point where it will be. I mean, I've even seen some stuff where they talk about they're making the AI girlfriend and boyfriends.
Yeah.
There's some post where I seen they took, it was an AI that was meant to be like a real life girlfriend or boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up like having to shut that down or something, and people were like tweeting about it. It was this thing where everybody was freaking out because they want that. They don't have to actually have that social
Human connection. Yeah.
And it's like, if that's already like how it's starting, and, you know, I don't know how long it's been out, but
Yeah.
you know, pretty early with this stuff. You know, you can just imagine how far it's going to get.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah. I listen to some. I try and listen to experts, but after 2020, I realized don't look at anybody as an expert because they can just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's doctors I don't agree with. There's psychiatrists I don't agree with that I think are doing harmful things, but yet they're the experts. Well, that's the reason I got the first 2 COVID vaccines, because I finally got to the point and I said, okay, this one company didn't use aborted baby stem cells.
Yep.
And I've listened to enough experts. I still want to have faith in the medical community. So I took the first 2. And then after that, you find out like so much of this stuff, it didn't stop you from getting it. It didn't stop you from spreading it. And it's like, well, then that's a pretty big risk to be putting something like that in your body if you don't know exactly what it's going to do.
Exactly.
And then all their guidance. So I just learned, okay, just be skeptic about everything and just research it. And so, yeah, I try and listen to people, though, who are in that realm, and they basically say the same thing. If we just let it go, it's going to get bad. And the experts said that in the beginning. Remember that a couple of years ago? Elon and some of them got together and said, we have to slow this down. We have to put guardrails up. And we didn't.
Yeah.
So what I just heard yesterday was kind of alarming. Like, yeah, the ones where they'll be companions or whatever, and I'm pretty sure some of them have led to like suicide.
Mm-hmm.
The person actually committed suicide.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm thinking, okay, they can get that shut down. But they say, okay, AI right now is like whatever. There's a word for it. It's like general AI. Like you prompt it, it responds.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually thinking on its own.
Yeah.
So right now they're testing like beta versions of these AI entities where we let them think on their own.
Really?
And the results aren't good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
So the person I was listening to yesterday, Dr. Jessica Peck, she was talking about it. And she said these entities, within 48 hours, communicating with themselves, had developed their own religion. Christo-fanticism or some weird big word like that.
Yeah.
They developed their own scripture.
Mm-hmm.
They had their own like pillars. They had all this stuff. That is so dangerous where we'll let them think and interact among themselves because their language will get to a point where they understand how they're communicating and we can't understand what they're saying.
Exactly.
So when the people that make the joke, you know, it's basically Terminator coming to real life. Can you not see how that could happen? Oh, no, you just unplug it. If we're going to let it think and it realizes it can have its own mind, like,
They can figure, yeah.
Yeah, that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in the near future, I understand, you know, I follow Christian influencers, and some of them are in business, and they say you got to use it for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You got to help use it to work smarter, not harder.
Yep.
But I don't know if if there's no way to cap that and stop that and put a safety net there, then I'd rather just have none of it.
Yeah.
I'd rather shut the whole thing down, because I did on Spotify, when you release an episode, you type up the show notes and whatever, and I try and make them interesting, and I try and use what they call search engine optimization keywords and all that stuff. But it gives you an option at the end. It says, would you like AI to rewrite this? And I want to say it was in like the end of the first year, maybe the beginning of my second year. I said, oh yeah, let me see what this looks like. And I hit it. And it rewrote it so much. It said what I said, but it said it so much better.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? That's not me though.
Yeah.
People who know me, they can detect my humor in those show notes. They know that's me. I kind of like me sounding dumber coming through on my show notes than AI.
Yeah.
So I never used it again. And I mean, I haven't used it for like anything. My logo, nothing. I just haven't used it. This picture right here is AI. Jim Gillespie put in a picture or whatever. And I can say, okay, yeah, that's harmless.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's no way to stop it from getting out of control, then I say we better watch out. We better watch out.
Yep.
I don't know. But people smarter than us are going to end up making those decisions. But we can determine how we use it or how we don't use it inside of our homes with our own kids and stuff like that. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the last interesting thing I'll say about AI and what this doctor said about it. She's on American Family Radio. Her name's Dr. Jessica Peck. Her show is called the Doctor Nurse Mama Show. So obviously she's like a mama bear type, but she's also a practicing nurse and all this stuff. She said, let's not make the same mistakes we made with social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we understand, and even the social media platforms understand, young kids do not need to be on social media. There's dangers, there's risks, there's mental development issues, just peer issues with all kinds of stuff, body shaming and peer pressure and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Why would we want to walk into the same stuff? We all gave kids, or, in general, kids were given access to social media early because everyone was doing it and we didn't really understand, could this cause long-term harm? And so, well, now we understand kids shouldn't be on it. Mm. So how about we show the same caution to AI? And she's like, and we're not.
Same thing.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're making it fun and making it accessible. So it scares me, man. It scares me, but I only have control over me and my house. And, I got my second kid leaving this summer. So I'm going to be down to 2 kids in the house, and that's all I can control and influence. So
exactly.
Just gotta tell people to have a good head on your shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's it. Okay, you had another what is up segment, and you just said, man, what is up with Charlie Kirk and the life and how his assassination went down, his life, his death, everything, what he did, what he was about. So yeah, I'm curious to see what do you think? What is up with Charlie Kirk, man? How'd you feel about him?
That was at the time I tried to pay attention to it as much as I could, because that was, a big deal. That was, I think that has brought a lot of people closer to God too. I think people have definitely been trying to reach out more about that. I think they've been trying to really learn about that, because he made such a big impact. And people, I really don't understand how people can say, it is the evil in the world, but how people can, you see that post and people are saying good, that needs to happen. Yeah. And that just, that really upset me, because it's like, even just our own morals. Why are you celebrating a death?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you celebrating someone getting, dying in public like that in front of all those students? Like what do you think that does to them too?
Oh yeah.
It's like, I didn't understand that. Like that just really, I think that really started making me think like what evil really is in the world. Like he did obviously have his opinions just like all of us.
Right.
He expressed them. He went around trying to teach the younger generation about it, and obviously he gets killed for it. And it's like, it really shows you what's going on in this world, and I think it really opened my eyes to what kind of evil we were actually dealing with. Right.
Yeah. What I liked about Charlie was he let the other person talk first. Mm-hmm. Always. Yep. All of his setups on all of these campuses, all the way back to the beginning when it was just like a folding table in a tent, he may have a statement that said, prove me wrong or whatever. but you come up and talk first.
Yep.
He was totally putting the ball in your court. He wasn't coming with anything but just, you say what you want to say and allow me to put my worldview or my opinion alongside.
Yep.
And, you know, I've shared that on this podcast. That's what I like to do, even though most people who sit in the chair mostly align with what I believe. They don't all. There's been Christians who didn't sit in that chair. There's, you know, my buddy Jim Gillespie, he's far more liberal than I would like, but he's a good man. I love that guy. So, yeah, when I realized, okay, they killed him for doing that, you know, there's far more controversial figures that are, you know, rude or angry or, you know, insulting. You know, Charlie would sometimes have to get on the crowd to knock it off and let them say what they want to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, he got pushed a little bit sometimes, but I don't know. I think Charlie did it the right way. Whether you agree with him or not, he did it the right way.
Yeah.
And yeah, he got killed for it. I struggle with that as well, as like, okay, one disturbed individual committed the act. But then, like you said, you saw plenty of people celebrating it. And that was kind of the hint at this is a much deeper issue. The Bible tells us that this is a spiritual battle. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he was just talking politics and economics and government, he might not have got shot. Yeah. But he had biblical values, and the Bible tells us, there's a war raging that we can't see it right now, but it's spiritual. It's good and evil, and you're in it, and you're on a side, and you're a part of it, whether you believe it or not. But that was a tough one for me. And now, you know, and there's so much stuff out there right now. I know Candace Owens is saying a bunch of stuff and stuff about Erica and the people around him, and some people say he's alive, and some people say, I mean, there's just all kinds of these theories, and I'm just like, it's almost like you just don't know what to believe anymore. You really don't. And it's like, I saw this with my own eyes, and I mean, this is what I think happened, but there's people that are still talking about it today, saying, no, that ain't exactly what happened. And that just creates a society where, like, no one's comfortable ever.
And that's what they want. They want division between everybody, because, I mean, unfortunately, that is the evil that is going on, is trying to separate the community, when, you know, Jesus is telling us that community, we need to be together. That is how we flourish. That is how we grow with God. And I think that is a big thing, is the separation between everybody. I mean, it starts so many different conflicts.
What do you think? I mean, I know you can't go back to the beginning, but do you what starts that division? How? I mean, you're only 21, so you've pretty much seen it like this from the moment you started paying attention. But I can tell you, it didn't used to be like this.
No.
You used to have elections, and it really didn't matter if you were Democrat or Republican or conservative or liberal. There was still a kind of a mutual respect. How do you think we got to the point where we're at now, where you're basically Hitler, Nazi, fascist, if you voted for Trump? That means you're automatically in that camp. How do you think we got to that point where we don't see human beings anymore?
No, I think it's honestly social media. I mean, there's so many things that just gets put out there, and it's like half the stuff. I mean, even now it can be AI that you see, right? But I think a lot of it is like they post, and it's what a lot of people are going off of. They don't do any research. They just go off of what they see, this clip they seen on their phone, right? And now they don't like Donald Trump, now they don't like Joe Biden, whatever it is. Like, they aren't seeing the full story. You know, it's only what the social media wants. It's because it gets them money, right? It helps them, it promotes them. And I think that's been a big part of it, is especially with the upbringing of iPhones or phones in general, social media in general, like everybody's turning to that to figure stuff out. And a lot of it is like, again, like the clips, you know, you're not seeing the full story, and people aren't, you know, for the most part, aren't going to go and research that stuff. They're going to see that and make a decision off that. Oh, I don't like this person now. Oh, this is what they think now. You know, it's like, I think it really is because of social media, because of phones. It's just creating that divide. I mean, it's the same thing with having that conversation with people. Like, you can't actually have a conversation now. Everybody's on their phone. Everybody's scrolling on their phone, doing something on their phone.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's dividing people.
Yep.
I think that's really been the biggest thing.
Sure.
So
Sure. Yeah. So you think it was better when news was spread from just newspapers and nightly news? Think it was better?
I think it was, just because of, I mean, that's hard because a lot of the stuff now you can't really trust, especially back then either. Like, same thing, like news outlets. I mean, you see all the news outlets now, they're posting some fake stuff. You go and research about it, it's something different, but
Yeah.
it's like you really can't trust much, especially, back then or now. Like, it's hard to say. Like, I think it was definitely better back then because of, again, the clipping portion of it. Like,
Yeah,
people are just
sure.
seeing the small, they aren't seeing the big story. They aren't seeing what actually happened.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The bias. So yeah, you're talking about like the downfall is the rapid, instant exchange of information, true or false,
Yep.
or full story or lack thereof.
yep.
But you also have the bias of the media.
Mhm.
And that feeds into AI. That's one of the other big downfalls of AI was like, okay, it's supposed to think, you ask whatever it is it Grok or Chat GPT, you ask it a question, it's compiling information, it's developing its answer based on everything that's on the internet
Yep.
or in its database.
Yep.
Well, you and I both know if we hop on right now on an internet search and we do a certain search, it's going to skew a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I know that as a Christian and a conservative, when I go looking for stuff, I have to dig a little bit deeper
yeah.
to get, the full story or the view that I agree with. I usually get more of a liberal, progressive return right away on my searches. Well, they say that's the same thing with AI. The programming into AI, when Google launched its first AI, what was it called? Gemini.
Yep.
Remember? And people were prompting it to, pictures of the forefathers or this and that, and they were coming back like minorities.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had programmed DEI initiatives and stuff to be prevalent. And it's like, well, you can't show me a picture of, George Washington
Yeah.
and he's a black guy. You
Yeah,
just can't
yeah.
do it.
No.
So they had to shut Gemini down and try and get some of that fixed. But it shows that the bias is fed into all this stuff. I'd love to see media. I talked to Ron Steele. I was trying to get him on as a guest. And he's got, 50 years at Channel 7 News.
Yep.
And he said something very similar to Jeff Kaufman. He's the Iowa Republican Party chair. I took my son down to an event years ago, and him and Ron Steele had the same thing. Jeff was talking about teaching, being like a political science professor. Ron was talking about being a news anchor. He said, no one should know where we stand.
Yeah.
You should be able to present the information, present as much facts as you can,
Yep.
and even present multiple opinions or points of view, and you let the people decide.
Exactly.
And Ron Steele said, Ron, I think you did a good job of that. I think Tara Thomas did a good job of that. She was another anchor who now says journalism is all but dead because everything is so biased.
Yep.
And he said, Bubba, I can tell you I did it right because both sides hated my guts.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could never fully tell that both sides thought he supported the other side.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Yeah,
if
that's
we can
good.
get back to a point where all of our social media clips and all of our news media, so we all know legacy media owns a large portion of what we see on TV, all the major news networks except for like Fox and Newsmax. They're all going to be skewed one way. Fox and Newsmax are going to be skewed conservative, but in my opinion, they at least show you a little bit more.
Yep.
But they're biased as well. You got to find the full story, and I don't know if we're ever going to get back to a point where our news sources are completely unbiased. Maybe they're personally biased, but their reporting isn't biased.
Yeah.
And let us decide. I've been saying that about school.
Mhm.
Don't tell kids what to think.
Yep. I was just gonna bring that up with the teachers. Yeah.
The
Yep.
critical thinking is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's almost like they're taught a certain way and there can be nothing different. And well, that's scary. Who's in charge of the schools then has a lot of power.
Yeah.
So
Especially all the way up into college too. Like, I've seen many clips of teachers that are, non-binary or whatever all that stuff is. Like, they're teaching what they think because, like, their personal view of that, and it's like that's so hard because people all the way up until college is when they start, like, about then is when they start, like, kind of forming their own view of stuff. And they
Yes.
take
Yep.
all of, from childhood all the way up to college, they take all of that, compile it, and this is who they are.
Mhm.
And it's hard now because it's like all these teachers that are, you know, in the LGBTQ or any of that stuff, they're teaching these kids like it's okay to be gay.
Yeah.
It's okay to, you know, if you're a man, you can like a man. Like they're teaching them that. And
Yeah.
it's like it's really scary because it's dividing, you know.
Right.
Same thing as social media. It's dividing. It's nothing close to, you know, what it should be, what the
Right.
Bible says that it
Right.
needs to be.
Right. Yeah. It's a tough spot. It's a crazy age we live in, man. Well, we could talk about this stuff all day. I mean, I could launch into sermon mode, but nobody wants to hear that. But if you want a sermon, hit me up. I don't know how many times I've guest preached, but I got plenty of ones on every different topic. And people say I'm relatable because I'm just what do they call it? A layman. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to seminary. I didn't go to Bible college. I just got real world experience. Love
Yep.
the Lord. So I can send you a sermon if you want one. Don't know how we got that. I'm trying to close out the episode. How we got talking about that, but. All right, Braden, I got to thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah,
this was
of course.
fun. This was good. I'm glad to have gotten to know you. Between these two parts, part 1 and part 2, I'm sure you encouraged our audience with everything that you shared, your life story and our discussion here, and the fun we had too. You know, but hopefully some of the serious points that got people thinking a little bit about what is up when it comes to life. So to my audience, I'm talking to you now as I close out. Have you ever caught yourself looking around at the world today and just asking yourself, like, what is up with some of this stuff that's going on? Some of the craziness, like we were talking about, the division, the bias in the media, the AI, like there's all kinds of things, Maybe you're just questioning, like things that are happening in your own life. Like, why is this happening? Why are these things not going the way I want them to go? You know my answer. The answers can't be found down here. All right? We got to look up like me and Braden did, okay? If we look to God and his word, he will truly show us what is up. I promise you that. If you're ready for those answers, that's where you go. I think the Bible has proven itself again and again to give the best answers and explanations for why the world is the way it is and why we are the way we are sometimes, okay? Why we do the things we do. So if you're struggling to find truth and real meaning in this life, let me make it real simple for you. No matter who you are or what you've done, God wants a relationship with you. Okay? You can bank on that. That's why we were created. He wants us to choose him. That's it. He's not going to force it. That's where all the best things in life come from. Braden was talking about that everyone's got a hole inside of them and we can fill it with whatever we want, but it never fully satisfies. Yeah. A relationship with God. That's where the hope, the joy, the peace, the best things in life, that's where it comes from. Okay? Nothing else is going to satisfy you completely and permanently. So if you want to go deeper or you want to talk one-on-one, you can email me, whatisappodcast@gmail.com. I'll make time for you. I'm really accessible. I'll try and answer any questions you might have. Just reach out. I will help any way that I can. Or maybe just leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. We can correspond right in there in the comment section on YouTube. It doesn't matter to me. So help us to continue to grow this year. We got growth goals we want to hit. We want this thing to keep moving. So help us do that by sharing this episode and any of the clips that are going to be out on social media with family and friends. Do not be ashamed of it. This is good, real life conversation right here. So for me and my guest today, Braden Knight, we thank you so much for listening. We hope it encouraged you, maybe challenged you, but I know it entertained you. So Lord willing, we'll talk to you on the next one.
Again, I just want to thank you for being on here. This is, again, definitely a blessing to be on here. I want to thank the Lord for this chance, talk about my testimony, talk about me. Definitely fun, always fun talking to you. And just want to thank you, and I do pray this encourages the audience. Pray it reaches you guys. Whatever questions, again, hit both of us up. Thank you.
Yes, sir.